Hi, beautiful people. Today's thought, ask questions. Ask questions. I feel like as a people, and it's not just teachers, asking questions is so informative, right? And as teachers, we're working on and we're learning how to ask more questions, ask better questions. But as people, do you ask enough questions? Right? Questions that aren't just trying to be condescending, right? Or there aren't sarcastic questions, but questions that you're asking to really try and understand something or someone, their thinking, their motivations, what they understand, what they know, what they don't know, how they feel. Are the things that they saying actually what they're trying to convey to you? Do we ask enough questions? Because see, here's the thing. I know that, we can make a lot of assumptions about what we think people mean and what we think they feel. Or, when we read in between the lines, I know when she sent that email, she really was saying. But do we actually take the time to ask the questions to make sure that the thing that we thought is actually the thing that it is? We need to ask more questions. I also think about asking questions from the flip perspective, like I need people to ask me more questions. A, because as a coach, I want people to ask me questions. And then B, I'm very unaware of some things that I say and do, as many people are. Everybody's not so self-aware that they can always know how they're, being someone else's perspective, things that they said and things that they do, and how other people are interpreting their actions and words. Not everybody is that self-aware. And even if they are self-aware, that does not mean that you know how someone else is interpreting the things that you have going on. So for me, I'm getting better, but I'm generally less aware than a lot of people. And I find that in the past, people have really thought something about me in terms of the way I've said things or the things that I say or my actions, and believed one thing when really and truly that was never the case. It's just my inability to fill out the room or to know what someone else was thinking or trying to get across, or how they might have felt based on something I said. And it really needed for somebody to just ask me some questions. Like, hey, what do you mean by that? Hey, so do you really think blank? Like, hey, what's going on with this? Like, why do you sound like this? Why did you do that thing that you did? And of course, part of that comes with knowing the person that you're talking to and feeling comfortable enough to say and do and those things. But I think that knowing that questioning is going to eventually get us to a space of just understanding each other, that it may feel intimidating and a bit invasive at first. Do I got like a whole like Magic Dandruff in the front of my head? Excuse me. It may feel like that at first, but at the end of the day, we're going to get to a space of really just knowing each other better, right? Of allowing ourselves to be seen, allowing somebody into what I'm really thinking or what I'm really feeling or really what I want to do or whatever the case may be. But we have to ask these questions that get us to a better understanding of the world. Really and truly, I feel like a lot of people have their own assumptions about different cultures, races, people of different sexual orientation, gender identity, whatever it is. And it's just based on what we think we know, right? Instead of asking questions in order to get us to a space to say, it may line up with what you thought originally, but I just fact checked. And I actually know that that's true. I actually know that that is a valid thought that I have, or a valid feeling, or not even a valid feeling, because our feelings are valid, right? No matter if somebody wants to validate it or not, it's still valid. That's another story. I really, and as a coach, this is something that I'm working on. And as much as I want teachers to ask me questions, I know that might not always be the case. But I need to get to a space too of asking people more questions, asking my administrators more questions, asking other teachers that aren't even the teachers I work with, asking family members questions, brother, sister, mom, dad, asking friends questions that just because I've known you for 15 years, 10 years, all my life, doesn't mean that I always know what you're thinking or how you feel. Even if it's a kid that I just met and I'm basing it off of all of my observations of who they are and what they're doing or what they don't do, I need to ask some questions because all of my assumptions might be gathering me up, and it all depends on the right question. But I may have this perspective and it could be all wrong. And I've been wrong before, like real wrong. And got somewhere and finally asked the question and been like, oh, my bad. So before you end up in a, oh, my bad kind of situation, ask some questions. 5 beautiful people. Let me know. Matter of fact, let me know what questions you ask because I want to know. I want to see if I can ask some better questions nowadays. And, whether we categorize them or we put them in some sort of, I don't know, some sort of organized fashion based on the person you're asking or maybe the topic, something like that. But let me know what questions you're asking people that you think are really revealing a lot more about them than you thought you knew.